So I started this channel, Kyle Talks About Video Games, because, well, I'm Kyle, and I like to talk about... Sometimes it's the only thing I know how to talk about. I don't like meeting new people. It's scary. But when I find out that somebody also likes to talk about video games, game over, baby. So I wanted to talk about some of my favorite games of 2023. For the record, not all of these games came out in 2023. Some of them came out like way before 2023, and you know what? Who cares? This was the first game I ever got for the PS5, and I just finished it this year. It is a hard game. This game makes me very angry. Good game, recommend it. Basically, you're Bob Dylan's son, and everybody expects you to be like this great folk artist, but you want to be David Bowie instead, which who could blame him? The corny charm and the Twin Peaksy kind of surrealness really kept me at the edge of my seat the whole time, until the end, which is
It's a foolish chance to take. What the hell is going on here?
I love you, Alan Wake. It's a pretty fantastic superhero game with a solid story, a little convoluted, but in a fun way.
What the hell is going on here?
Probably one I'll revisit. My favorite part about this game is probably the randomly generated levels. This has to be one of the most underrated games out there. I know a lot of like the die-hard Devil May Cry fans aren't huge on this one. Fuck those people. This is a game for people who hate themselves, like me. It started out easy enough, and as the levels go on, it turns into probably one of the most challenging platformers I've ever played. Even though it has a goofy-ass story with dialogue like this.
Is that the alt girl I saw from earlier?
You wouldn't really abandon a cute girl like me, would you?
You know, there's only so much of that you can take as a human being without your spirit breaking. The customization options in this game alone make your head spin. I mean, you can make your dream mech robot thingy and just fucking plow through a bunch of enemies with, you know, double Gatling guns or double shotguns. Maybe you get a shotgun and a laser blade in one hand, and you get 2 rocket launchers on your back or plasma cannons. And if that doesn't sound fun to you, then I don't really know what your definition of fun is, because it doesn't match up with mine. I really love the stylized graphics and the crazy combos you can pull off. The characters are so full of personality and so expressive. And I think that level of charm and personality is what makes this stand out in a sea of other fighting games. So it's a Souls-like, but it's like a capture the flag, and the more flags you capture, the easier it is to fuck up your enemies.
Run into any ne'er-do-wells? You know exactly what they ne'er did well.
Anybody that's worried about the difficulty in this game, I think this is probably one of the more accessible Souls games I've played. This game released more broken than my heart was after finishing the last Star Wars film. Some of these cutscenes, I'm watching them and I'm thinking, imagine going to the theaters and seeing a Star Wars movie like this today. Everybody would shit their pants. The theater would smell like shit. Respawn clearly understands the allure of Star Wars. And EA, man, fuck. Not only is it the second survival horror game on this list, it's the second survival horror remake on this list. But this one's very special because Resident Evil 4 was one of the greatest survival horror games ever made. In fact, it might even be the greatest. It's become the gold standard. And guess what? Resident Evil 4 is the greatest survival horror game ever. So which one do I like more? Honestly, it's a tough call, but I'm gonna have to give it to Resident Evil 4. Somehow, I have made it this far into my measly existence without ever playing the original 3 God of War games. It rocks. It rocked back then and it holds up fantastically today. God of War 2 was probably my favorite one. I think it had the most memorable moments in it. I'm glad I finally got around to playing it. I like to be Spider-Man. This game did have a hefty order to fill, because it had to do 2 things. It had to A, live up to the standard set by one of my favorite games of the last console generation, and it also held the same name as the greatest film of all time, right? Everybody agrees Spider-Man 2 is the greatest film of all time, right? Does it deserve to have the same name as the greatest film ever made, 2004's blockbuster Spider-Man 2? And yeah, I think it does. I loved it so much. As soon as it finished, I was like, let's start that motherfucker over. Insomniac clearly understands the appeal of Spider-Man, much like Respawn understands the appeal of Star Wars. The open world and side content here is much improved from the first game. It feels a lot more substantial. However,
I'm like a B real estate agent. A B-real estate agent. A B-real estate agent.
was it the greatest superhero game ever made up to this point? Spider-Man. What could possibly beat Spider-Man? This game urged me to use my creativity in ways that I've never seen another game even really suggest. I mean, look at any video of anybody talking about this game across the internet. There's really nothing I can say about it that hasn't been said a million times. Tears of the Kingdom is pretty much one of my favorite video games I've ever played. I'll probably be playing it for years to come. I have many more hours to spend in it. So yeah, those are my favorite games that I played in 2023. Hope you liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe, or don't. I don't give a shit, man.
I did it for me.
Maybe you also like music. My band just released a new song. It's called The Times. I put a link to it in the description below. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, all that bullshit. So give it a listen. Keep gaming on. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, if there's anything I should play. If you just want to yell at me and tell me my opinions are stupid, that's fine. Throw it in the comments. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. See you later.
A real estate agent.